All right. Hello, everybody. It is, what is it? It's February 21st here. So welcome back. I've been kind of overrun here the last couple of days with the whole new SitePop thing. And I know some of you guys got an email here just in the last 24 hours probably. I've been sending this out to my list of commercial clients, and I know a lot of you guys are on multiple lists that I've got, so you might have received that email about the $99 SEO program that's guaranteed. And that's what I've been talking about. Like for you guys that are resellers, I'm actually offering the SitePop service as a commercial service out to customers. So if any of you are doing SEO as far as a business, this is a phenomenal product to resell. It's a great door opener. I just sent this out to my list. Like I said, I've got probably 40 people that I have not been able to get interested in an SEO program that are now interested. So that's 40 off of my small list. So, you know, basically $99 a month, that's $4,000 a month additional income for something that's very inexpensive. So anyway, it's pretty exciting. The response to it has been phenomenal. For all of you guys that are in SEO or know anything about SEO, you know that SEO for $99 a month is kind of a pie in the sky type of thing. But this is actually working. So it's pretty cool, pretty exciting stuff. I'm going to be doing another webinar at 2 o'clock, which is basically 3 hours from now, specifically on the SitePop for any of you guys that are interested in that. I'm going through how it works. I got a boatload of questions over the last week about, about that after we talked the last couple of weeks on the calls about it. So anyway, I want to do a special call just dedicated to that, doing it at 2 o'clock Pacific on this same line. So if you guys want to hop back on for that, that's going to be a lot of interest in that. But anyway, this is our regular Dominator call, so I don't want to, dominate it with that unless that's what you guys are interested in. This call, as you know, is open to anything related to internet marketing, business, SEO, anything you guys want to talk about. This call is open for it. So anybody that's got questions, you can go ahead and unmute and come on out and ask away. We've got quite a number of people on here today. It's awesome. Glad to see you guys hopping in and getting involved. Let's see. One of the things I wanted to talk about too, somebody just brought this to my attention last week. There was a product out that is for voice search, and I did a call on it, and I offered you guys a free version because I actually bought the product, and I offered you guys a free version, and I didn't realize that I had not put it into the training area. So if you guys want to go into, if you want to request that, you can go in and put a support ticket in, and it's under the bonus section. In there under the bonus software section, let me see what it's called here. It's called Voice Search Software, and a company came out with this. It's software and training on how to take advantage of voice search. So if any of you guys are interested in that, you don't have to buy it. I bought a commercial license where I can give you access to it. So if you want that, it's pretty cool stuff. It will do a scan on your site and tell you how viable it is that your site would actually rank for voice search, which that's kind of a new thing. Well, it's actually not a new thing, but it's a new thing that's kind of coming to the top. People are being, interested in it and excited about it. As you know, any cell phone has, or any Android cell phone at least, has a built-in device where if you say, "Hey Google," it activates the voice search, and then you can say what you're looking for and it will give you search results. It's kind of like Alexa for search. So voice search is becoming more and more prevalent, especially with all of the younger users. So a lot of the millennials and the ones that are even, you know, behind the millennials, that's the way they search now. You know, you hear them all the time saying, "Hey Google," and then they rattle off what they're looking for, and you know, away you go. So if any of you guys want that, like I said, all you have to do is put a support ticket in, and I'm happy to sign you up and get you a free account for that. So just let me know, and I'll take care of that for you. Let's see. Gwen says, "Hey Google, just set my phone off." Yeah, it's funny. If you don't know that, any Android device, all you have to do is say, "Hey Google," and your phone will light up and it'll listen for what you want on a search. And I was kind of shocked to see that. I saw my nephew doing it over and over, and I'm like, I thought he had some like special app or something, but no, I did it on myself on my Android phone, and it lit right up and wanted to know what I was looking for. So thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, all right, guys, what is it that I can assist you with today? So come on out, unmute, and tell me where you're at, where you need help.
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
For this upcoming call, is this something that we should invite people that might be interested in to listen into, or can we take the recording and use snippets of it, or how's that promoting it?
I will be recording it. What this call really is mostly just for you guys that want to purchase the SitePop software. So if you're reselling it, this wouldn't necessarily be a call for you to, you know, invite people that you want to resell it to, because they're going to know they could just go around you and get it direct. So depends on, you know, if you've got friends that you want to tell about it, absolutely. It's an open call. It's not like restricted. I don't even make people opt in for it. It's just an open Zoom call, just like this one. So if you've got somebody that you want to turn on to it, it's perfectly fine. But if you've got customers, like I know you're one of our resellers, so you're reselling SEO services, it wouldn't be ideal for you to bring your customers on to learn about it that way, if that makes sense. So,
okay, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, because we'll be talking about, you know, how to set it up, what it costs, you know, what they get, all that kind of stuff. So if you're upcharging a customer for it, you probably wouldn't want them to have access to that information. As far as like from a reseller perspective, if you were reselling this, all the client really sees on their app is they just see your information as their agency. Like it'll say right on the app, if you have questions, contact your agency, and it's got your contact information right there on their phone. So, and it's also white labeled if you want to put your logo on it, all that stuff, so it looks like it's actually coming directly from you. So yeah, you definitely wouldn't be in your best interest to, you know, allow your customers that access to know where you're getting it. Anyway, all right, who else? Who's got any questions? Yeah, go ahead, Russ.
So I just realized the call is at 2 o'clock Pacific time, which is 5 o'clock my drive home time, so I'm going to miss it. So I had a quick question for you.
Sure, go for it.
So the agency license, how many projects does that allow you, or what's the difference between the agency license and, say, a 10-project package?
Gotcha. It's more projects. The two things that you get with the agency version, for those of you that haven't seen it, there's 3 different levels. There's a basic, a pro, and an agency. And they all give you exactly the same thing on the projects. The basic gives you 3 projects, the pro gives you 10, and the agency gives you 50. So a project is basically a domain name, 12 keywords, and your brand variations. and then it goes to work on those 12 keywords for you. So again, you get 3 with the basic, 10 with the pro, and 50 with the agency. The other thing that you get with the agency is you get the white label service with it. So if you want to put your logo to it and you want to be able to send people, you know, directly in there to see their stuff, and it shows your logo on it. But it also, like when you set it up, when you set your clients up in there in the agency version, they actually see your agency information on their control panel. Like when they put it on their phone, they actually see your information on there, so it looks like it's coming directly from you. There's no way they can go around you. Let's see. Ted wants to know if you can delete projects. Yes, absolutely. You have total control over all of your projects. You can go in. You have, as the owner of the account, you have access to the control panel in the back. So you can go in, you can change your keywords out, you can make any edits or updates to any current running project. You can delete projects, you can add projects up to the number that's in your account. The other thing too, from an agency standpoint, is you're the only one that gets access to the back end. Your customers would not get access to that. They just get access to the app that they put on their devices. So the apps, the other cool thing about this too is from offering it from an agency perspective is when they have it on their app, they can see their keywords right there. So it's all fully visible. So, you know, you don't get stuck sending reports and generating reports and doing all that stuff every month. If they want to see what it, you know, what's going on, they just pull it up, boom, there it is right there. So that's really a cool feature about it as well. All right, who is up next here? Let's see, with this many people, I would think you guys have some questions.
And can you use this for Facebook fan pages or YouTube videos?
Hey, Ted, how's it going? Yeah, you can actually do that, but here's a nuance to it and a potential landmine by doing that. What you have to do, you have to put a base domain in. So if you were going to do that, the base domain you'd be putting in would be Facebook. Now, depending on the keyword that you were running, if someone else came up for it, it would be driving the signals to them and not to you. So if you were going to do that, what you probably want to do, like let's say I'll use YouTube for instance, if you wanted to promote a YouTube video with it, what you would want to do is you would want to put some sort of a unique identifier in the title of the YouTube video. And that way, when you ran the keyword, you would put that unique identifier in combination in the keyword. That way, no one else is going to show up for that, you know, for that particular keyword combination other than you. And that's a way to kind of get yourself around that. So it's not really made specifically for that. It's more made for your own websites. It's made for, you know, company websites. Which brings up a question here. Somebody asked, can you use this directly to your money site? Yes, this is developed for money sites. This is not, you know, specifically for anything outside of that. Although there are uses, you know, we've got some pretty sharp guys in here that have, you know, have been working with me for a long time. They use the predecessor program of this called RainMaker, and they got really creative with different stuff and different things that they were able to do with it. Another thing that you can do with this is, let's say, you know, this works perfectly on local businesses right out of the box. Works great. We've got some other national companies that we use it for on a commercial level, and what we wind up doing is we just run multiple projects for the same domain. That way we get more searches. Like if you're going after a national campaign and they already have like 10,000 searches a month, by you adding a single project with only 500 searches a month, it's not going to make that big a difference. It's not going to move the needle like it would on a local business, that the local business might only have 500 searches a month organically. And you're going to be adding 500 really premium searches on top of that. That's where it's like right out of the box, it's like magic. But, you know, again, if you've got a national company and you're really trying to push hard competitive keywords, then the deal there is you just create multiple projects for it, or you use this, you repeat the same keyword. Each project gets you up to 12 keywords. So you can repeat the same keyword throughout the project if you like. There are some pitfalls to that. Like, you've got to make sure that what you're doing is in relationship to what's natural. And again, like if you've got a national company and you've got 10,000 searches a month, you could get away with that pretty easily. If you, let's say you had a brand new startup business and it had a very low search volume, and you come in here and you add 5 projects and you use the same keyword on all of them, it's going to be so out of balance. You're going to grab somebody's attention, and they're probably going to swat you off. They're not going to know, you know, what or how or why, but you might, you know, pull a red flag and get manually reviewed, and you could, you know, wind up getting yourself in trouble. So, you know, I would recommend that you, if you're going to do something like that, take a look at how many searches you have already and don't do anything crazy. Oh, let's see. Somebody's asking about crowdsearch.me. This is a program that's been around. They came out right after we came out with RainMaker, and it does a very similar thing. The only difference is they're using micro workers, and the problem with micro workers is most of them are not in this country. One of the biggest factors, we identified 5 factors that is really highly affecting the search right now through the AI with Google's patent. And one of them was search. And if you've got people in the Philippines and people in India and all over the, you know, these third world countries running these searches for you, that's not close proximity. And in most cases, that doesn't make sense. You know, if you've got a local dental practice or, you know, a local attorney firm, you got, you know, 5,000 signals coming out of India, that's not going to make sense. That's not going to be a very trustworthy signal. So close proximity, the way this works is it will hit your site hardest from the closest devices to the physical address. It'll hit them there first, and then it works its way outward, hitting it lighter and lighter as it goes out. So it's completely natural. So that's a big difference between this and like crowdsearch.me. The other thing too, several people that were using crowdsearch.me for years, they made the switch over to this, and they said it's saving them thousands of dollars a month because they were spending thousands of dollars to, you know, buy these searches through there because you know, you're paying a much higher price using the micro workers. So, all right, let's see. Tom asks, would this be good for new car dealerships? Yes, absolutely, because a car dealership, you know, that's mostly a local business. So if you're going after car terms in a local niche, even if it's a brand new business, 500 searches is not going to be out of the ordinary. And when you combine them, especially brand type searches, that could be really good, really fast. Let's see, got one here. My local business is in Canada. Do we have any devices in Canada? Yes, we do. We've already got devices in Canada. Another thing too, if you're doing this, you have to add 3 devices yourself to the network when you do this. So you're gonna be adding 3, you know, hopefully like cell phone devices that are going to be moving around looking natural. And then if you're doing this for clients, like when I do this for clients, I ask them to put it on at least 3. And I tell them the more devices they put into the network, the better off they'll be. So if they've got family, friends, kids, put it on all of them, because that gives more devices in your local area. And like I said, it looks for the devices closest first. If there's devices close, it will hit all of those first. So that's going to definitely be to your benefit. Okay, somebody asked, how is this different from RainMaker? It's very much on the same concept line, but the implementation is massively different. RainMaker was all desktop devices for one. This is multiple devices, multiple platforms, mobile devices, which is a huge factor right now because of the proximity search and the device, the multi-platform. When Google's AI is, looking at what's happening and determining who's at the top, it's favoring mobile devices because they're natural. It's learning what's happening natural out there and what people are learning from. Our RainMaker device did not have any mobile devices. So that was a huge factor. It did not have proximity search. It ran the searches throughout the network. Most of our devices on the RainMaker network were US based. So in that aspect, it looked natural, but it did not have the proximity. And the biggest one that this one does that RainMaker didn't do, and none of the other ones do this, and this is one of the heaviest weighted factors, is this one will do revised search. And what that means, how bounce rate is hard on your site? Google doesn't like bounce rate. Well, think about that. If Google doesn't like bounce rate on your site, they hate it on their own site. So this will actually create a bounce within Google to train the AI. So if it sends a signal or a search rather for your keyword, and then it pages through a couple pages of Google and it doesn't find you, and it hits the back button and it revises the search, that's a bounce for Google. So Google's artificial intelligence looks at that as, wow, this person searched for something and they didn't get what they were looking for. So what were they looking for? When that device revises the search, adds the brand to it, and now it finds you and it clicks through, guess what? Not only did you send Google a bounce that you didn't get what you were looking for, now you told it what you were looking for, and you found it, and you got a positive user experience. So that revised search combination, that is massive. No one's doing that. Our RainMaker did not do that. So if you combine all of the stuff that this one's doing, this is by far the most powerful SEO tool on the market right now. There is no doubt about it. We're using it for all of our commercial accounts, and it's the only thing that's moving the needle. Daniel, did you have a question there? You had your hand up. Let's see. Okay.
I have a question, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
Thank you. Just very quickly, I was just wondering, you were talking about the signals and the geographical area that they're coming from. I was just wondering over here in the UK how SitePop's going to work there. And the other thing that I'm struggling with, I'm speaking to clients every day, and I'm just finding it difficult to sort of get them to understand brand search optimization as opposed to just normal SEO when they haven't even got a clue what SEO is really. And I was just wondering how you would actually sell them in.
Okay.
In a simplistic way,
Sure, absolutely. I can tell you this. I do not try and sell SEO to commercial businesses by going in and selling SEO because they don't want SEO. It's like they don't wake up at night thinking, yeah, if I only had SEO, the world would be great. That's not the thought process going on in their head, right? They wake up thinking, if I had more customers, I'd be able to pay my bills. That's the thought that's going on in their head. So if I were to go out and pitch a customer on SEO, here's how I would do it. I would go in and during the consultation, I would be asking them, who their ideal customer is and how profitable is that customer. Who's their most profitable customers, and I would get them to be telling me what that is. So it's coming right out of their mouth. And then once they've done that, then I ask them the next question is, thinking about that customer, what do you think they would search for if they sat down in front of their computer and were going to look for you? What would they type in?
Cool.
And then they tell me, and this is words coming right off their lips. And I say, well, let's do it. Let's do an experiment. Let's see what happens when you do that. And then they type it in, they see they're not there, and they see these other competitors there. And I ask them, I go, do you recognize these people? And they say, yeah, those are my competitors. And I say, what do you think that's costing you to not be here when your ideal customer searches for you? So nowhere in there did I say SEO.
Yeah.
What I did was I just allowed them to discover a huge problem in their business. I've ripped a hole in them and they're bleeding all over the floor. That's kind of graphic, but that's what happened. And I got to tell you, I don't have to ask for an order. At that point, they're asking me, how soon can we fix this problem? Can you get me here so I can play the game? And I say, yes, absolutely. And that's when I present an offer. So that's,
you wouldn't really go into research then?
The only place where I would go in, like what I'm doing now with SitePop, is I just put out an email that said, guaranteed SEO for $99 a month. That actually went out to people that are SEO savvy. And they look at that and like, it just perks their curiosity of like, how can you do effective SEO and guarantee it for $99 a month? Well, I can, because of SitePop. And the guarantee goes like this, and it's a very safe guarantee on my part, because the guarantee says, within 90 days, if I can't get at least one of your keywords on page 1, I will continue the service as long as it takes on the house. Now, I saw another question in here from Daniel. How fast can we see results? Most of our customers that have done this have seen results in 2 weeks. They have seen something move within 2 weeks. I know for myself, when I've put it on anybody I've put it on, I've seen it within 2 to 4 weeks. It's got, it's at least got one of the keywords on page 1 at that point. And the other thing. What's that? You kind of broke up there.
Sorry, will this work in UK search? Yeah.
Yes, it will work in the UK. And the reason that I say that is when we put the network here in the US, we had very few people on the network, and it still worked. So like in my case, I put the device here in Huntington Beach. I used my own company as a test bed, and I put my own 3 cell phone devices in the network. And just with those 3 devices being local and the handful of other ones that were, scattered around the country, it actually worked for me within 2 weeks. I've got Anthony down in San Diego is one of my resellers. He put it on 9 of his customers in the San Diego area. So between that, they had 27 devices in that one little pocket. And it is just kicking butt for him. Within 2 weeks, he got results on almost all of those customers.
So, John, if you...
Okay, thanks, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
So, if I've got a small selling area, like, there's a town of 1,000 people, but there are 20 businesses. If I get them all signed up, do I get a multiplier effect by having all those cell phones concentrated in that area?
Yes. The more devices in a geographical area, the more powerful it becomes. So,
I assume that there's almost an exponential number that goes on, because you start getting that concentration
Yes.
in that area.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
So if I wanted to think about a shopping center, then walk into the shopping center and say, guys, we can make you guys all hot to trot, because all of a sudden you're going to be jamming on all of your customers, and you're going to be having signals going for all of you at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
So, like a business association, this would make phenomenal sense for, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, and eventually, as we roll this out, we're going to have more and more users in the network. But yeah, if you have them in a concentrated area, the localized signals, the factors is just going to go through the roof. So absolutely.
So if I wanted to put 10 out of 20 businesses in a small community online at the same time, this thing would just blow it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I could just reproduce that over and over, and every time I get a network of businesses that I want to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. And they don't have to be like close proximity. They don't have to be like all in one strip mall. If they're within like 10 miles, that's perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, within 10 miles that's what Google considers close proximity. Like if you look at their own control panels, like when you go in to run ads and you want to geo-target, they're geo-targeting in 10-mile rings. So that's what they consider close proximity.
So then you can continue. So they'll get efficacy in a 2 to 4 week period, but then you can just keep adding keywords so that they get more and more and more and more.
Yeah, here's the other thing too. When you start getting the brand searches to your site, Google starts trusting it more. What they look at is if somebody knows your brand, they look at you as more important. Like if they see searches going for a keyword and they're related to a specific brand, that brand is going to get a lot of authority within their eyes. So they're going to look at that as, if no one knows your brand, how important could you be and why should we care?
Right.
If you're getting a lot of brand search, that tells Google, hey, people know about this particular business and they're interested in it, so we need to put that at the top. So that's a massive factor in what's going on with their AI. It has given big business such an unfair advantage, and it's really just swatted the little guys something terrible. Because little guys don't have that brand recognition, so people aren't naturally searching for their brand and connecting keywords like this. And this is really going to level the playing field as far as that goes.
And then actually for my own business, that's digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
If within 10 miles of me, I'm building out this network, my digital marketing is going to move to the top as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Smoking hot.
Yep, absolutely. So, this is a phenomenal product. It also gives you the ability, like from a digital marketing perspective, if you've got a digital marketing agency, all of your customers, either they are or they should be interested in SEO.
Right.
Most of them probably either have a company doing it already, or they've been burnt. They've spent a lot of money and not gotten any results. So you've got those two things at play, which is, it's pretty hard to crack through that seal. But when you can come in with something like this and do what I'm doing, is offering guaranteed SEO at $99 a month, it grabs their attention.
Yeah, but nobody really cares about SEO. They just want more leads.
Yeah,
they want more people coming on the door.
Exactly. And you can, depending on the level of customer that you've got, like I said, I only use SEO if they're SEO savvy and they know they want that. But if they're not, then yeah, absolutely. New customers, new leads, being on top of getting Google to recommend you.
Will this help put my clients in the 3-pack?
That I don't have a specific answer for that yet, but my Everything I know says yes, but I can't prove it yet.
Okay.
We're still looking for the case studies to see that actually happen, but everything I know says yes, but I can't prove it.
And then the other, I hate to dominate the conversation like this, but
No, not at all.
so if I've got a doctor's office and doctor's got 5 employees, I get them to all put their phone on the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. They can put more than 3. Like what I tell my customers is I say you need a minimum of 3 to qualify for the service.
Right.
But the more that you put, the better off you'll be. Like if they put 10 in, let's say they had, a bunch of kids and family and cousins and relatives or whatever, and they all put it on their phones, that is going to give you a huge boost. The numbers work out with 3, but the numbers work out way better with more.
And I'm trying to figure out if is there some benefit to other people going on? I mean, if there was some benefit to it, the doctor could get his patients to join the network, right?
It's not very likely that they could pull that off because there's no real benefit for the patients.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's not really a benefit for the patients to put it on their phone. I don't really know how you would package that to make that piece.
I get it.
That's something for us to think about, though. That's an interesting concept of maybe we could create some sort of an app that runs this in the background that their customers might enjoy.
Because it's what I'm understanding is the bigger the local network, the better it is in terms of results you can deliver. Yeah,
absolutely. Here's another thing, since you brought it up too, as far as like a dental office or a law firm or anything like that type of business where they have multiple practitioners,
right?
Chiropractors as well. Some chiropractors have multiple practitioners under their roof, under their brand. Each one of their names is a brand name. So when you put in the brand variation in here in SitePop, you can actually put in their names. Like for me, I put Internet Dominators as my brand name. That's my company name. But I also have other brands. I have SEO Dominators. I have Act Marketing Protocol as a brand for me, and my name as well. So I put my name in there as a brand too. So you can do that with the dentists. You put all the dentists' names in there under the brands. That way, when it's doing what it does, it's going to filter through and it's going to grab random brands and connect it to the keywords. And it does those revised searches. And it will continue to do that until it gets a winner. Well, if it ran a search for the keyword plus the first dentist's name and it didn't get a result, and it revised it and it put the second dentist's name in and it didn't get a result, and then it did a third revised search and it put the company name, the dentist office name in there, and it got a result, you have now sent signals to Google's artificial intelligence that, hey, somebody was looking for these doctors and they didn't find them until they connected it to this brand. So these are all interconnected. So next time when somebody searches for this doctor's name or this keyword, they belong to this website. So we should put that at the top.
So let me posit a different question for you. I've got a doctor's office and they're rolling out a new treatment protocol for whatever, low back. So if I take that same chiropractor and now I want to do a campaign for him on low back pain and a new treatment approach to low back pain, do I just run another campaign for the same guy so that we begin to associate that name with that treatment?
You can. Are you talking about like the same keywords for the same domain?
Different keywords for the same domain.
Okay. There's two ways to look at that. When you run SitePop on it, like if it's a small business, let's say it's a small local business and they don't have very many searches, like if you look at their Google Analytics, see how many monthly searches they have naturally. If they've got, 500 or less, I wouldn't run 2 campaigns on that domain just yet until they start getting natural traffic as well.
Okay.
But if they did, then yeah, you could put multiple campaigns. Like when we have national companies and they've got, tons of searches, it takes multiple campaigns or multiple projects rather to make a difference, to really move the needle for them. But on a small local company, what you would want to do is under the brand name, you would want to connect all the brand names of the, the practitioners, the name of the company, the name of the practice, whatever those are. You put all those in under the brand names and then put your 12 keywords. And one thing that this does, that as it starts building trust and authority for that domain and showing that that domain has brand recognition, all of the keywords that Google is associated with that site, even the ones you're not pushing on, are all going to come up. They're all going to start rising. It's like when the tide in the harbor rises, it lifts all the ships.
Right.
It's the same thing here. When you increase your trust and authority in Google, it's going to rise just like the tide. All of your keywords are going to go up.
Makes
So
sense.
if you find that, let's say you run the 12 keywords for a month or so and they're doing well, you can go in there and you can replace them out. You can start pushing on other ones that you want to specifically push forward for. So you can change them up as often as you like.
All right. So if I've got a new program on a new client, it doesn't matter. I can switch out to another. I can switch out to another set of keywords the next month going through.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you can swap.
I guess if I've had enough traffic to those keywords and that brand name, then there will be residual value. Will build up the trust, so there will be residual value for those keywords.
Absolutely.
Per set of keywords.
Yeah. So what I would do, ideal situation is you put variations of the keywords. Like say you run your first 12 keywords and you get them all ranking, in good position. Then you could go in and you could change and change the variations of them and maybe make them a little more generic to get some of the higher traffic ones up.
Okay.
That makes sense? Because a lot of times, your longer tail keywords are going to rank faster in all cases. So if you get those ranking, get those up first and then start making them a little bit more generic, and start pushing those up, you'll get probably the maximum bang for your buck that way.
Very cool.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I know I'm going to have a zillion other questions. So.
Well, this thing, there's not really any way to go wrong with it unless you do crazy stuff. But if you use it as it's meant to be used, you put 12 keywords, multiple brand variations, you're never going to go wrong with it. It might take longer to rank, more competitive keywords, but in the meanwhile, you're still making that brand connection and you're gaining the authority. And you might not see it, if you have 12 keywords that are high competition, you might not see them rank on, in the panel for a while, but what it's doing, it's creating that brand recognition and it's rising all your other keywords. So you probably are going to have other long tail keywords that you're not even paying attention to that are now ranking because of this. So you could have a major positive effect on the outskirts of this that you might not even see unless you were really monitoring, your keywords, like using SEMrush to see what keywords that you did rank for.
Got it. Cool.
Major positive effects from this process.
And just out of curiosity, the test that you ran for the $99 SEO, what kind of response did you get from that?
I got about 40 people that want to do it.
Out of
And
How
that
many emails?
that was a list of probably about 2,000.
That's a great response.
Yeah, yeah. My list they're pretty responsive. It's all people that I've done business with or trained or,
Yeah.
worked with, pretty closely in the past. So
It's still a good response.
yeah, it's a very warm list. I have a big list. I'm going to send it out to my larger list. I've got a list of about 15,000. I rarely communicate with that list, but I'm going to send that list out later this afternoon and see what happens with that. It won't be near as responsive, but we'll see what happens.
It's all a numbers game.
Yeah, like I said, it depends on, it's like our ACT program. In the ACT program, I teach you've got to get the messaging right. So if you're sending an SEO message out to like commercial businesses, they don't know and care. It's like you said, they want leads. If you're talking leads, you're speaking their language. If you're speaking SEO, they're like, well, I'm not interested.
Right.
They don't know about it. But a lot of the people on my list, they are SEO savvy, so I can get away with it. But if I were to do, like, let's say I was going to go into Facebook and I was going to target commercial businesses, I wouldn't come across as SEO for $99. I would put it, like you said, as a lead generator or something like that. Now, if I was targeting the digital marketing world, absolutely, they get SEO. They know it. They've all tried it. And most of them, and if not all of them, have not been successful.
Right. So
with those guys, you come out with, a $99 guaranteed program and they're all ears. So, but this should be a really good door opener. Like if you're going out to customers that already are paying for SEO, getting them to switch is not easy. But getting them to add this on top, you say, hey, you don't have to change anything about your current SEO company. All this is going to do is going to make all of their efforts actually work for you, so you can benefit from the money you're spending with them.
Right.
And I guarantee you, when you give them something for $99 a month and it moves the needle, and the other company they're paying $2,000 a month for wasn't moving the needle, and the needle only moved because of you, guess what? You're going to get that business. They're going to ask you, hey, how much would you charge me to do the whole SEO thing for us?
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
Yep.
So, because all of a sudden now you are the authority. You knew how to move the needle, and you knew how to move it for a lot less than they're already paying. So that's a major, major benefit to offering it as a door opener.
So if you had something like I'm thinking of something like a franchise operator, small franchise operator, 20 different units. If you went in and did this for each of the units, then you probably are going to get a better bang for the buck than what they're getting now anyway, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anybody, especially smaller businesses, like if you're not a big brand and people don't know your brand name to actually search for you, this is going to be a huge benefit for them.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make that connection. It's going to show Google, hey, people do know this brand and they're searching for this brand specifically. So for Google to not acknowledge that is a terrible error on their part, and they know it. That's
right.
why they've got the artificial intelligence in place to tell them who's important. Who do people know about? Who are they really looking for? So they can jump on that bandwagon. That's why news was so important to Google. That's one of the reasons they bought YouTube, because they wanted to see new, fresh content that people were actually engaged with and get an understanding of what the users were looking for so they could enhance their offering. Because, in Google's world, they're all about paid ads. And for you to do paid ads, that's just like in the old world, that's like selling magazine ads. What's your circulation? How many eyeballs are on this magazine? It's the same thing in Google's world. It's how many eyeballs are on your search results and that determines what the ad is worth. You know, what's your circulation? So for Google, if they lose circulation because they don't provide quality search results, their ad dollars just, they diminish,
Right.
disappear. So Google will do everything in their power to protect that empire. And it's not that they're anti-SEO, it's they're anti-manipulation with garbage results because it hurts them. If you're in tune with them and you're giving them what they want, which they want good search results, if you're in tune with that, that's why, everybody says provide quality content, but they don't really know what that means. If they're in tune with putting something in there that's going to get consumed and it's going to show Google, hey, that user got what they were looking for, that's more important to them than quality content. That tells them what quality content is. I see so many people spouting off in the SEO forums that you need 1,500 words or you can't rank. That's complete bullshit. They don't care how many words is on your page. They care how the user interacts with those words. And I can tell you why they get that, why they think you need 1,500 words, because they think it's going to take you X amount of time to read 1,500 words, so that's going to keep you on the site that long. But I guarantee you, if those words aren't good, they're not going to read them and they're going to be gone.
Right.
So it's not about how many words, it's about the consumption of the content.
So usually when I do a site audit, I got meta tags that are missing, I got schema that's missing. There's a handful of 5 or 6 things that are almost always missing.
Yeah, sure.
And nobody really wants to fix those things because, they've got a pretty website already.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm hoping I'm hearing you saying is that we can, even with a crappy website, we can begin to get really good results.
Yes.
Relatively short period of time.
Yeah, because the way I've described how to rank and how to beat the algorithm is the algorithm has X number of things that it's looking for as far as what's important.
Right.
And if you think about it like an abacus, you've got you've got the dial at the top that has the big beads.
Right.
And those are the algorithms that are really important. If you can
Right.
move one of those big beads, you'd have to move 50 of the little ones to make an equivalent move, in the rank.
Right.
So all of that stuff is the little beads. The big beads now is those user signals. Does that make sense?
Incredibly.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the little beads and you got the big beads. For me, I'll attack a big bead before I'll go and spend a bunch of time and money and effort and resistance, quite honestly, because they don't want to change their website. They like their website just the way it is. They don't want to change it. And so if we can move the needle without having to change the website, the only thing I will say that's contrary to that is if they don't have a website that can convert a customer, you're kind of fighting an uphill battle doing SEO for them anyway, because you're never going to win. It doesn't matter how many customers you bring them. If they can't convert them, they're not going to ever be happy.
No.
So that's something that you want to look at rather than I don't care if the site has keyword tags or meta tags or any of that stuff. If I look at a site and I say, hey, if I drop the right customer on here, they're going to buy this. It's a no-brainer. That's a site worth trying to optimize.
Yeah, and I just spent 15 minutes with a prospect this morning. When I looked at her site, I said, "What the hell are you selling?" Because I can't figure it out, and if I can't, nobody else can.
Yeah, exactly. Because the whole online digital space, it's just a reiteration of what's gone on in history. Like the internet, web pages, it's just digital magazine. It's like literature people used to hold in their hands and read. And one of the things that they knew in the ad world long ago, long before the internet, was they knew they had a certain amount of seconds to stop you from turning the page. Nothing's changed.
Yep.
You know, now it's not, you're not turning the page, you're hitting the back button, or you're doing a new search, or, you know, you're clicking to go somewhere else. There's nothing different about it. It's just the medium has changed. And if we forget the lessons of the past, we're not going to be very successful in the future. You know, it's like, it's like when I teach people marketing in our ACT marketing protocol, I say, what happens when somebody shows up on a used car lot? What's the first thing the salesperson wants to do? Wants to get them behind the wheel, right? So they can feel it.
Right.
So I tell them, if you're trying to replicate that, how do you replicate that in a visual digital environment? It's easy. You three-dimensionalize the benefit so they can actually feel it. You know, you don't just say the benefit of, you know, here's the thing or here's what it does. You do it in a way that you three-dimensionalize it by saying it so they can hear it, see it, and feel it. And when you do that, you have just put them behind the wheel.
Do you have a course for that too?
Yeah, absolutely. That's our ACT marketing protocol.
I guess I'll have to go back to your site.
I mean, you've probably got access to it already. Are you in the Dominator family package?
I don't know.
I'm sure you've already got access to it. Because
that wouldn't be the first thing I paid for that I didn't know I owned. So,
yeah, a while back, I just decided, you know, when somebody bought into any of my programs, I would basically just give them everything I've got. I mean, why not? You know, it's all tied together. You know, if somebody comes in for SEO and they don't know how to convert, you know, what's the point? So, but yeah, that three-dimensionalizing, there's another formula in there that I teach, which is how to eliminate objections. Because in marketing, your first goal, your first job of marketing is to grab people's attention. And you do that with, you know, the concept called the big idea. And that's been in ad agencies for over 100 years. So you've got to get that piece up front. And then once you grab their attention, now your job is to create demand and desire before you make your offer. If you've created demand and desire, the only thing that's going to stand in the way of a sale now is an objection. And every objection is based on a belief. So I went all the way through ad agencies, how they do this, and I broke it down. And I actually found the core, went back to Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin came up with a formula to overcome any objection. And it's based on changing their beliefs. And the formula, it's simple. It's claim, proof, benefit. You make a claim contrary to their current belief, which doesn't stick because it's just a claim. And then you follow it up with 2 proof points. So now you've taken it from a claim to now it's actually real. It's indisputable. So it's no longer, you've changed their belief and then you attach it to the benefit of their desired outcome. And now you've not only eliminated the objection, you've re-solidified their desire and demand for whatever it is you're selling. And he's if you look it up, he's in the Marketing Hall of Fame, and there's an example of it. The first example found that I could find is in the Marketing Hall of Fame, the way he sold his wood-burning stove. It was admittedly the poorest product on the market at the time, and yet he outsold his competitors like they weren't even there because of that.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it's funny. A lot of people, most of the industry knows me for SEO, but I know an awful lot about marketing too. You know, that's really, it's more about business, basic business sense. And, you know, if you know that, you will probably be a really good marketer. And knowing both of those things on top will make you a really good SEO person. You know, that's probably why I've been able to stay on top for so long. You know, I don't follow the SEO community. It's majority of it is just all hocus pocus. And when I say the majority, it's pretty much all of it.
It's the most wasted money in the whole digital marketing universe.
Yeah, because they're doing stuff that doesn't make sense, that might work for 5 minutes, but then it costs you in the long run. And it's, you know, a lot of it, it's kind of unreal. It's like the blind leading the blind. It's like,
or the bond leading the blind.
Yeah, it's like, really? Who said to do what and why? You always look at things as, you know, why am I doing this? What's the meaning behind it?
Yeah.
And that's always really, you know, led me the right direction and served me very well. Like, you know, anything you're doing for SEO, all you have to do is ask yourself, does this make sense for a business owner to do this? You know, does it make sense for a business owner to get a bunch of junk links on sites that have nothing to do with them?
Yeah.
No. Does it make sense for a business owner to go and disavow links and care about people that are linking to them that are?
Nope.
No. I wouldn't touch that disavow tool with a 10-foot pole. That does not make sense for a normal business owner to be doing that activity.
No. It doesn't make the cash register ring. So
That's right. That's right. But, you know, does getting brand recognition? Absolutely. Business owners do press releases. They do trade shows. They do things to get their name out so people know about them so they can look for them. Right? That makes sense. They would do that. So that's kind of my criteria of everything I do related to SEO. I ask myself, would a business owner do this? Does it make sense? And if it does, it's never going to be anything that Google goes against. They would never go against something that makes sense to a real business owner because that protects their empire. You know, it's those business owners that pay for their ads. So that's kind of, you know, one of my core methodologies about how I've approached SEO since the beginning.
Hey, this has been great. I've got to thank you so much. I feel like we've had a one-on-one dialogue, and I don't mean to the exclusion of everyone else. But.
Hey, no, that's no problem. I tell everybody, you know, this is an open call for anything you guys need. And a lot of times it will be this way. You know, it will be me and one person the whole call and nobody interrupts. But you know, all they have to do is unmute and I can see them, and you know, it's open to everybody. Don't ever feel bad about dominating the call. If you've got stuff you need, I guarantee you the people on the call that are listening, they're learning just as much as you are because you asked the question.
Well, I'm going to go out and make some money. Thanks, man.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's what I want everybody to do. This is a phenomenal tool for that.
Well, I'm going to go use it exactly for that. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. One last call here. Anybody else got anything before we wrap up for today? All right. Well, we will be back.
John.
Hey, Kim. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. So I'm the newbie here, I think, and
was that a little over your head there?
A little bit, yeah. It's like whoa, okay.
Yeah, no problem. If you've got stuff, this calls for any level, and believe it or not, everyone will learn from whatever the questions are.
Okay, so my question was about the Kartra system. So I have ActiveCampaign right now. How does it compare to that? Or
you know, I'm not really all that familiar with ActiveCampaign, but I can tell you, like with Kartra, a lot of people that I know that were in Infusionsoft have switched over and just could not be happier. I believe Active Campaign is similar to Infusionsoft. But like within Kartra, some of the stuff that it does for me, I use almost all of it because it's a whole bunch of tools in one box. It will do your mailing lists for you. It will do your auto response for you. It will do tagging. It will do automations like moving people from one sequence to another. It will sell products. It will do membership sites and, you know, supply membership access to paid accounts. It will do a calendar for you. It'll do a whole calendar scheduling system.
Oh, wow.
It will do your affiliate program. It will do, you know, all of your email blasts. It pretty much does everything that I need to run my business. It's really
all in one place.
Yeah, in one convenient tool.
What a concept.
It'll make your forms. It will make your web pages, your landing pages. It will host your videos. I mean, I could just go on and on. It does a help desk. It has help desks in there for you. It's like everything in one box, and it's all integrated. So when you know, like when you create a form, then the form goes right into your landing page, and then that drops them right into your database. You know, and then when they buy a product, it takes them right into your membership section to deliver and fulfill the product. You know, if you're doing coaching in the calendar system, they can actually pay for a coaching system or a session rather. They pay for a coaching session and then they can schedule it right in the calendar. It's a really, really phenomenal system.
So what would be the average? I mean, it's probably you put add-ons or whatever, but what would be the average cost of it, like per month?
Well, the cool thing is all that stuff I just mentioned, that's included. There's no add-ons.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
It's like I was able to eliminate Wistia, which was costing me like $150 a month for my video hosting. Yeah. I was able to eliminate the autoresponders, which were, you know, between $20 and $50 a month. I was able to eliminate, you know, when I add up all the stuff I was able to eliminate, I was saving like hundreds of dollars a month, even after I was paying for the Kartra. As far as Kartra, I believe their low package is $89 a month, and it includes everything I just talked about.
Wow.
The only reason you would need a higher level is as you grow, if you get, you know, more people in your database, there's different cap levels for how many people you can have in your database,
right?
How many, you know, how much of the stuff you're consuming. But most people can get away with the $89 level for a very long time before they need to upgrade.
So does that include like a CRM kind of thing in there as well?
It depends on what part of the CRM you're talking about. Like as far as like what I know about CRM, you can go in and you can tag them as to what level they are of interest.
Mm-hmm.
You can, I believe there's a place where you can make notes on each person. It's not like, it's not made to be like something where it's reminding you one-on-one, like to call people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
anyways.
I don't think it has that type of feature, but it does have automatic follow-up. You know, if you want to, like if somebody's on a particular tag, you can have it automatically follow up with them periodically.
Oh, that's what I want.
So yeah, that's basically an auto response system.
Right.
And you can do automation with it. Like you can say, okay, if I send this person a sequence of 6 emails trying to get them to purchase something, once they purchase it, I automatically want to remove them from that sequence and put them into a new sequence as being a purchaser.
Right.
So it will do all of that.
Yeah, so you can have like my clients, for instance, they're sort of in one group, and then there's new like opt-ins or new people that come in on the list, and that would be something different, of course. Correct. So you can separate that.
You can either keep them all in one database, or you can have multiple databases and use tags.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like let's say you just created one mailing list database and you dropped everybody in there, and then you segmented them by tag. So you could be doing your responses based on the tag that they had. Like when they first come in, they might have a prospect tag. So they would go into the prospect sequence and you would send out a series of emails trying to convert them to a customer. Once they make the conversion, then the prospect tag is removed and the customer tag is added. And now they would get the customer sequence follow-up.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Now, okay, another question is, so I can use, there's a full calendar inside. So I use Acuity right now. So with all my different services and everything, and that has it all included in there.
Oh yeah, I was using Time Trade. I think I was paying $180 a year for Time Trade, and I was able to cancel that too.
Right.
Because not only can you schedule appointments, you can actually have them pay for the appointment prior to scheduling.
Right.
And you can do that right through Kartra. You can set up a product and have them buy the product, and then the fulfillment is the schedule to schedule their appointment. So it's really cool.
Okay, and is it fairly easy to use?
It's very easy to use, and your biggest benefit is I'm very familiar with it. If you have problems, I can help you.
Awesome. Because you know what, for a long time I've been saying, isn't there something out there that I can just, I want things to be simplistic.
Yeah,
So I've got all these moving parts everywhere, and it's just like, it would be great to have it all in one. So I was very curious about that.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. And a lot of these calls, we haven't done one recently, but in the past, there's been several calls where people were stuck in Kartra, and I would actually just open it up and show them how to fix it.
Okay.
Right on the call, and that's not a problem. I can share my screen here on this, and show you how to do any procedure inside Kartra that you need to do.
Okay. Well, I think I'll check out that 14-day trial.
Okay. Yeah. It's a really cool product.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. My pleasure. All right. Anybody else before we wrap up here? Last call. All right, guys. Well, any of you that want to join us at 2 o'clock, the same room, I'm going to be doing basically the Q&A for SitePop. So if you got any more questions about that, or you just want to listen in and see what comes up, you guys are more than welcome, although you got a lot of that on this call, so you might be set. But anyway, thank you all for participating and coming on, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.